Back. Decided to change the channel name for, well, a reason. So, I've got a battle here against Gleam, an old friend who I battle a lot. We battle usually at least once a week. And we got a pretty good battle right here. Usually they're very good, but I thought this one was really amazing. This was about a week ago. And since this is a quite long battle, let's get in right now. I'm using the same team as last time, and he's got well, as he usually does, he's got an interesting team. He's got a Shedinja on his team. That's pretty interesting. So, I lead with Conch Elder, he leads with Gliscor. Now, this is not the typical Gliscor set. I had forgotten about it. I knew about it, but I forgot. As you see, he has leftovers, and if that's leftovers, then it's not Poison Heal, obviously. This is because he's using a Defog Gliscor and then since Defog is illegal to have with Poison Heal, because 4th gen move, 5th gen ability. Not a bad set, but I think Poison Heal's still superior overall. He sets his rocks up, I go for the Ice Punch again, and of course he brings out his Talonflame. But I get the freeze on the Ice Punch. Not even bad. Of course, though, he's just gonna Flare Blitz and get right out of that, because Flare Blitz is one of the few moves that can unfreeze the user. But I know I need to keep this Landers alive and healthy throughout this match, because that Talonflame, well, he's probably my best check to Talonflame, or best counter at least. And you see no leftovers, you see no Life Orb, possibly Choiced? Maybe. Well, he runs very unexpected things, so I didn't know yet at the time. I get my own rocks up now, and of course he brings in his own Gliscor. And that Gliscor is going to be kind of a problem. It's got Defog, and my Landers can't do anything to it at all. So I just get the U-turn off, get a tiny bit of chip damage, and what's my best bet for that thing is going to be my Starmie. Starmie's going to threaten him out easily, and I know he's not going to... Gliscor's too important to his team to stay in, so I know he's going to switch out. Predicting him to switch into possibly the Slowbro, I go into my own Volcarona. But he goes into his Shedinja. He knows that my Volcarona can easily one-shot it. So he switches back out safely into Talonflame. And, well, even though that was resisted, that Fiery Dance still did a lot, showing how much... That shows how much power Volcarona has. And as I said before, Landorus is one of the most important things for me to keep alive in this match, because Talonflame is really not good against it. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. Talonflame can't do much to it, but repeated hits can really wear me down. And he's got his Roost. So he's a Roost Talonflame. Those get annoying a lot of the time. And he brings out his Slowbro. This gives me a pretty good position, because I can U-turn, and I can go straight out. Let's see what I go into. I go back into Volcarona. Volcarona is my perfect check for that Slowbro, and that Slowbro is can be part of a defensive core that is gonna be bad for my team. He was predicting me not to stay in or anything like that, and I just went straight for the Bug Buzz and one-shot that Slowbro. So, very nice. And I don't want to keep my Volcarona in against that Gliscor. So I switch out into Starmie, because I know he can't one-shot my Starmie. And then his Talonflame comes back in, which this is not a good matchup for me. So I have to switch out yet again. And as obvious as it was, Landers is still my best option. Get that Intimidate off, he goes for the Brave Bird. That does at most a third of the damage, I believe. Maybe a little more than a third. But a knockoff is going to do some serious damage to him in return, so he doesn't want to stay in. And some of these plays in the match just get rather repetitive. Just a matter of me bringing in Landorus, and him going out into Gliscor, completely walling my Landorus. He reveals the roost right there. And I just use her now to go back out into, I believe, Starmie. Probably Starmie, because Starmie is the best check on my team to that Gliscor. And of course, he's not going to stay in again. So, double switch out once more. Conch Elder comes out. And, of course, as expected, he switches out too. He can't risk it. And he goes into Shedinja. This is a pretty good opportunity for me. I go straight for the knockoff, but unfortunately he's going to double back out yet again into his Gliscor. And that Gliscor is a threat. Well, not a threat, it's just very annoying to my team. I've always thought Poison Heal Gliscor is one of my least favorite things in the metagame, but that defog Gliscor is proving to be pretty annoying as well. So here's where I make a really good play. He goes out into Talonflame, and I've got my Conch Elder out. Talonflame can take anything Conch Elder has, and I know he's going to predict me to switch out, thinking it's too risky to keep Conch Elder in. So I know he's going to go for the Roost, and I'm going to, since Roost makes the user lose their flying advantages, I go for the Drain Punch, and Drain Punch does a nice amount, and he does not want to stay in. That's further making me think that he is Choice Banded. And Choice Banded Roost Talonflame. I don't really like that all that much. But then again, Talonflame, when Choice Banded, doesn't have many options for the last slot. And now finally he brings out his Porygon. Porygon gets that Trace. I love Trace shenanigans. Gets Trace, gets the Intimidate off. I get my own rocks back up, forcing him to bring Gliscor out again to defog if he wants. And I just want to knock off that Eviolite. That thing is going to be very annoying. And he, instead of going for the Ice Beam or anything like that, he probably expected me to switch out and went for the Toxic. I'm pretty sure he has Ice Beam, so it could have been very bad for me if had he gone for Ice Beam instead, since Landorus is my best answer to Talonflame, as I said. Now it's too risky for me to stay in with Landorus, of course. I've got to go out, and I go out into Conch. And that Conch is going to get Toxicked. So, Guts activated, Conch Elder now, very nice for me. He definitely does not want to stay in with that Porygon too. He goes back out into Gliscor. Obviously, oh, actually no, he goes into Shedinja, sacrificing it. That's right. I thought that was a really strange play. I don't really see why he did it. I went for a knockoff, predicting him to go into something like Talonflame. So now it's 6-5, I believe. No, 6-4. And his Gliscor goes for the Roost. His Gliscor is going to stall me for days, and I can't stay in because the toxic damage is going to rack up. And he can just keep roosting. I could Drain Punch, but nah, that's still going to take me too long. And Clefable goes out because Clefable is mostly safe in this situation. Now, Clefable, strange switch I guess, but I wanted to get that aromatherapy. Even though Guts Conch, I'm just getting rid of the Guts on it. But I've also got the Toxic on Landorus, as you remember. And I cannot keep that Toxic on Landorus. That would be very bad for me. since it's just going to be stalemating, he goes out into his Jolteon, and predicting him to make some sort of switch or something, I go for the Moonblast, which does a nice amount to the Jolteon, and I get the special attack drop. Judging that this is a specially defensive Clefable, that special attack drop combined with the Jolteon is really going to be bad for him. And he goes out into Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is going to trace my Magic Guard, which really sucks because I can't Toxic him. But that wasn't really my priority at the moment because I wanted to Wish Pass, preferably into Conch Elder, because Conch didn't have all that much HP. And here's where I make that Wish Pass. And as you can see right now, some really unfortunate hacks is about to happen. Conch Elder easily takes the Ice Beam, but he gets the freeze on me. The 10% chance freeze. But then again, I also got the 10% chance freeze on him earlier in this match. This part of the match was just ridiculous. And I can't keep Conch Elder in frozen like that, so I go out in the Clefable, trying to get rid of the freeze ASAP. And that Talonflame has really no problems being in against my Clefable, so he just goes for the Roost. And I had predicted him to do something else, possibly switch, so I went for the Toxic. I had known that Moonblast really wouldn't have been useful against Talonflame because he would have either knocked himself out from recoil damage, or he probably would have knocked himself out from recoil damage before I would use Moonblast had he gone for a move like that. And yet again goes for Roost, poisoned. And Landorus is not in a bad position at all because Landorus is slowly gaining HP versus his Talonflame slowly losing HP. And he's in a pretty bad position with that Talonflame. So he switches out, and he goes into Gliscor yet again to wall me. And as I've said before, this gets somewhat repetitive in these plays. So I guess in the meantime, with this going on, why don't I talk a little bit about my past battling experience. I started getting serious into competitive battling around mid-5th gen, around 2 years ago. I still go to the same place that I got my start at. That's where for most part, battle. I like watching a bunch of the YouTubers, including Shofu, Pokeaim, etc., etc. And yeah, I'm hoping I can get my channel to have a lot more views, more subscribers. So I've got to work more for getting videos up and such. I just don't have much time to record usually. Okay, so now we're a little behind. He goes out, he brings out his Porygon 2. And I cannot kill that Porygon 2 with Starmie. That's just what happened. Almost killed it with Psyshock, and that would have been really great if it did kill. So, more stalemating, I guess. I go out into my Clefable against his Porygon 2, but guess what? Another freeze. That's the third freeze this match. This got really ridiculous. And even though I was mad about that freeze, I kept laughing so hard. 10% chances of freeze happening in one match. Not to mention, he would have broken Freeze Claws had that actually been able to be, well, used. And I don't have much of it. This really leaves me in a bad position for the freeze on Conch and the freeze on Clefable really leave me in a bad position. I've got to switch out, and he just goes for the U-turn on his Talonflame. Talonflame, guess what? I believe goes back out into... Oh no, he goes into Jolteon. And I can't stay in because of the HP Ice. And I'm pretty certain he has the HP Ice. I've got to switch out. I believe I switched back out into Clefable? Yeah. Clefable, especially defensive, but judging that it's frozen, it can't take all that many hits, especially from a Life Orb Jolteon. So I've got to get out. I've got a 10% chance to unthaw every turn, and I need it, because without unthawing, I am in a really bad position. But guess what? I thaw. I stayed in and I thawed. I've got that aromatherapy off, and Conk is no longer frozen, which is a really big relief. Because this leaves me in a much better position, to the point where I can sack off my Clefable and safely switch into something else that can handle the Jolteon, like maybe Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr can just take it out with that Mach Punch. But of course he's gonna withdraw. I believe he goes out into Gliscor. Yeah. And I probably should have predicted that. I didn't think he would have saved the Jolteon. And he's just got his wrist. I've got no guts boost on my Conkeldurr, so the Ice Punch and Mach Punch, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, they aren't going to do much to Gliscor at all. And my best split, Starmie yet again, because I know he can't one-shot me, whether he Toxics or Earthquakes. I believe Earthquake is his only physical move, because he's got... Actually, no, he doesn't even have Toxic. I didn't realize this in the battle, but he's got Defog, Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, and Roost. Now, he expected me to double out into something else, but no, I didn't want it. That Gliscor was too annoying, so I just stayed in, knowing nothing on his team left except maybe Porygon 2 would have wanted to take the Hydro Pump very well. And he goes back out into Talonflame. Talonflame goes for the Brave Bird. This Talonflame, as of now, is pretty much his win condition, and that Toxic is really going to affect it. So at this point in the match, it really looks like as long as I don't make a really stupid move, I've got the match. Landorus, I know he's not going to stay in, so I go out into Starmie. What was I predicting? Oh, actually no, he does stay in. Starmie is not going to take that well, but it is going to take it. And he's not going to... That Talonflame is too important for him to sack off right now. And then the poison damage is racking up, so he's going to withdraw. I believe he goes out into Porygon 2. Yeah. Porygon 2's got its Eviolite knocked off, which is, well, as I knocked it off before, which is really good. I know he's going to go into something like that, so I go for the Psyshock. Not going to do all that much, but decent chunk of damage, I guess. When it comes to bulky Porygon 2, yes, decent damage is really all you can do. And I'm just going to sack off Starmie here. Starmie's done its job. I don't need it anymore. And he just goes for a Thunderbolt. I missed the Hydro Pump, but it really doesn't matter much. And Conk is going to really kind of wreak havoc on that Porygon 2, because Gliscor is no longer around to Roost stall or anything. He has no Eviolite. He went for the Ice Beam. We were talking during the match on Skype, and he went for Ice Beam hoping to get another Freeze Axe. But I go for the Drain Punch. No Eviolite, that Drain Punch is going to kill. And it's too risky for me to keep Conkeldurr in at this point, I guess. Well, I just didn't want to keep it in. And he's got his Jolteon and his Talonflame left. And as obvious as it is, of course, I go back into Landorus. Landorus gets that Intimidate off, and he gets his Roost. And at this point in the match, I believe he revealed to me that his Talonflame was indeed Choice Banded. I guess he might have used Choice Banded Roost Talonflame because I was talking to him before about a battle where my opponent used that, and I thought it was kind of a stupid idea. And he just sacks off Jolteon because he needed to get that roost off in order to be at a healthy enough point to where he could potentially do more damage to my team, but at this point, I've got, what, 4 Pokemon living, and there is absolutely no way he can beat my team at this point, from the Resoil damage racking up, and the toxic damage that's going to be racking up. So I just go into Volcarona to sack it off at this point. It was disappointing too, because that was the first time it stepped out onto the field during the match. And but anyway, I just did that to be a safe play. I didn't want Landorus to die and then potentially lose a lot more Pokemon in the process, but it really wouldn't have mattered in the end. The only thing that would have changed was possibly the number count. And this Landorus it's just -1 on the Talonflame. Landorus is going to take that, and Landorus is going to knock off that Talonflame's item, fainting it, and knocks off the Choice Band as expected. That was the battle. Hope you liked it. I certainly had fun with it, and when I went to record it a couple days ago, I didn't realize it was this long. And that was well, I didn't want to have to record such a long battle, but I liked this one a lot, so I wanted to record it. Plus, I didn't really have anything else in particular so far that I wanted to record. So, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Hopefully, I'll get more battles to you guys soon. Signing out, Rogue Ace.